You never know what happens after midnight. Let's talk about it. Well, hello and welcome to the midnight edition of the Tequila Hour. My name is Amanda. It is right now exactly 1:07 a.m. on Sunday, the 19th of October. The title of this podcast was called Midnight. It's past that. Way past that. I can't believe I'm still awake and still functioning. Who knows how this podcast was I can't speak, so there you go. How this podcast will go. I'll spit it out eventually. Yeah, where did this come from? I don't know. From the machinations of my mind. I was just thinking to myself, you know, in this crazy world that I now live in, and we all live in, and I've been finding lately, you know, I'm just going to bed earlier and earlier and earlier. I just wanted to reminisce on those times when you used to stay up late. So, you know, let's talk about that. That is the subject of the podcast today. But first, you know what we need to do, even though it's 1 o'clock, we need to do some motherfucking admin. Let's go. Yeah, that's right. My name is Amanda. This is the Tequila Hour After Dark. I feel like Big Brother. After dark. Should I get all sexual? We can go there. Yeah, that's right. Like I said, it is now 1:09 on Sunday morning. It's past midnight. I closed my blinds in the studio because it felt quite weird looking out upon the view that normally is the trees, etc., in the secret location. You know. And this is the thing, it is fucking quiet. Probably the best time to record, to be honest. Should I make that a weekly thing? I can't think of the words. No, I don't think so. I don't know if I want to stay up this late every Saturday night to do a podcast because it's fucking quiet. I have to say, though, I feel like Tinkerbell or Peter Pan or something. It's really quite strange. It's funny because, like I was just saying earlier, so often now, if I wake up early in the morning, and I'm talking, you know, 4, 5, and I've been doing that a bit lately, pretty much say like anywhere between I'll wake up at 3 or wake up at 5, and I'm awake, and I am hot, like feeling I could be still going through menopause. That's a thing. But, yeah, I'm waking up hot, I'm sweaty, and, yeah, I'm fucking awake. So because I'm waking up early, and if you didn't know, I'm normally a bit of a night owl, I'm just dying in the arse at about 9:30 and 10 o'clock. I'm just like at 10 o'clock, I'm sitting, you know, my husband's already asleep. He falls asleep pretty much straight after dinner. And I'm just sitting there and wondering to myself, why am I still trying to keep awake? You know, it's 9:30, 10 and I'm off to bed. So that seems to be increasing. And like I mentioned, I really don't know where this came from. It's just advantageous that I have some time tonight to actually do a podcast so late. So, yeah, I just thought it sounded like fun. And that's the thing. I then thought about when I was younger and when we're all younger. For those who might be young now, fuck you. That, yeah, once upon a time, you know, you'd go out on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, at least minimum nights. you'd be staying out to whenever the club closed, and I was trying to think of that before. Sometimes it was 1 or 2 o'clock, sometimes it was 3 o'clock, sometimes you didn't get home till 5. And that seems crazy shit right to me now that I would stay out that late to like say 5 o'clock in the morning still partying. But here I am at what is it? At 1 o'clock, and I'm okay. So what am I drinking? And what am I doing for admin? I am actually drinking, believe it or not. I was drinking in the afternoon. You know, I had a snack. I was watching YouTube. Then I had some dinner, and I kind of stopped for a while I played with some makeup. And yeah, I then had a shower. Random that you don't need to know. But I'm actually pretty much primarily drinking the Kieran premix that that I drank. That's not proper pronunciation. That I drank last podcast. I had one tequila because that's all I had left. But anyway, it is what it is. So, midnight. It's dark. You know what it is? It's weird. I'm sure, I can't speak because that's quite late. I am sure if I lived in the city, I don't live in a city. So, and if you've been listening acutely, not acutely, acutely, then you would know where I reside, where the podcast studio is, which is where I live. No, they're not separate. But that's the thing. Where I live, it's quiet right now. It is deathly quiet. There is no cars. Great for podcast recording. If you know, you know, because, you know, the microphone is just picking up the sweet resonance of my glorious voice. It's not picking up the motorbike that's running past, driving past, or the cars, or the dog that barks, or the stupid bitch next door that starts mowing the lawn right when I decide to do a motherfucking podcast. I don't even have to worry about that right now because everyone in the secret location vicinity is asleep. Pretty much. They're probably fucking asleep. It's quite eerie. I like it. There's no mist. It's not plain misty for me like right there. If you know, you know. Great movie, by the way. It's an old one. Yes. Yes, I'm old. Yeah, it's eerie. I really like it. Once upon a time, and I'll tell a couple of stories. Once upon a time, I think I just need to quickly not blow my nose, but just bear with me. Kind of runny nose. Once upon a time, let's do story times, midnight. Once upon a time in my life, I had a penchant, so fancy, that's right. At midnight, I get fancier. I get sexier and I get fancier. Let me have a bit weird. Quick sip of my drink. Bit of ASMR for you. Yes. Sexier and weirder. Yeah. Yes. Once upon a time, I used to enjoy random walks at night. Now, there's a couple of times that comes to mind. It's a long time ago, okay? I don't do it now. It did correspond with high levels of stress, shall we say, and moments in my life where, yeah, my life was interesting. And I won't go into it and bore you with this, a full blow-by-blow of what was happening. Let's just say that, yes, I had a penchant for just going outside in the middle of the night and going for a walk. There is 2 times that come to mind. One when I can't remember how old I was. I think I was a teenager. And I just decided to go for a walk at like 11 o'clock at night. And my parents were in bed and, I decided to, just go for a walk. And I got, I don't know, I think it was like maybe a kilometre away from my house. And, I kind of got bored and I was cold and I went home. I kind of remember I think I was angry at the time, so I decided to just go for a walk in my pajamas and no shoes. There is another particular time that comes to mind after midnight. This is when I was 19, 20, 19, I think. And no, 18 or 19. It doesn't matter. I was young, all right? And again, I was at a particular place and I decided to go walkabout, as they say, and it was quite late. This was in Sydney. Where it was St. Leonard's. Is it St. Leonard's? Somewhere around that region. And I don't know if it's St. Leonard's. Anyway, again, it doesn't matter. And let's just say that I went for a really long walk, again, in my pajamas, which was at that time a pair of shorts. I can actually remember the shorts that had polka dots and I had an orange T-shirt on. No shoes. In Sydney, in a suburb, in the city of Sydney. And I think I went for a walk for like 2 hours and came back with massive blisters on my feet, and then having to explain to particular people why I thought it was warranted to go for a walk in the middle of the night. So, I did that. I did that a couple of times. It was one of those things where it was just, shall we say, a moment of escapism that on reflection could have been, and some would deem quite dangerous for a young lady to be wandering around the city in pretty much no clothing with no shoes and not get attacked, which didn't happen, by the way. But, it's I remember it actually quite fondly because, it was, I remember at one point I was running. I don't ask, and if you know me, I don't fucking run. But it's quite fascinating looking back at that thought because, like I said, it was quite late at night and it's amazing that I didn't, stumble upon some group of men or anything like that, and who knows what could have happened. I didn't feel unsafe at any point of time. I wasn't cold either. And I felt liberated. I don't know if you've done this before in your life where you've just decided to go for a walk after midnight. And I actually would encourage it. I often, think, I'd love to go for a walk. Do I want to go for a walk now? Maybe. That's weird. There's actually something quite refreshing about going for a walk in the city at night, like as in late at night. I'm talking like after midnight. There's people around. Sometimes there isn't. I'm imagining in different cities, I'm thinking about Tokyo, for example. There probably is a shit ton of people still about at 12 o'clock. But at this particular time when I was 19, yes, there was people. But when I think I left at 10. And like I said, I was walking for hours. And, I remember when I came back, there was no one around. There was cars, but there was no one around. And I think that's what kind of prompted me to go to myself, I think I need to return because there was no one around, which was quite bizarre. But, there has been moments when I'm like, I could go for a walk right now. I like the, I don't know if you'd call it a thrill, but I suppose there is some sort of semblance of that. It's kind of cool walking around at night in the dark when it's really quiet and, Obviously you see all the stars out at night. You might hear the occasional dog. It's usually a little bit cooler. It's mysterious. Obviously, your outlook is so much different because it's dark. Often where you may stroll along, there is some sort of light. Like, you might hold a light or you might have a street light, for example. But, yeah, so that's one thing. But, yeah, I don't know what particularly prompted me to do this podcast today. It's just like I thought, I just randomly, I was thinking about what I was going to talk about, and there was something I was going to talk about, and then it just, it was just a perfect timing that I had the opportunity to do a podcast this afternoon, and just randomly thought to myself, why don't I do it at midnight? So here you are. So here I am, not you. You might be like, when you listen, you could do that. You could listen to this podcast at midnight. That would be different. It might make it more palatable because, I sound weird. Anyway, what I did is I also thought to myself, well, what's a list of 10 things that a person should experience? So what I did is I just typed this into ChatGPT and then I'll talk about the responses. So a list of 10 things that a person should experience in their lifetime at midnight, and make this list as unique and inspirational as possible was the prompt. Okay. And basically here are 10 unforgettable things a person should experience in their lifetime precisely at midnight. So it's not midnight, it's actually past that. Each one is meant to stir the soul, ignite wonder, and remind you that the world never sleeps. That's true. It transforms. The first one, watch the ocean reflect the moon. That's pretty cool. Stand barefoot at the edge of the sea as the tide hums against your feet. Watch the moonlight shimmer across the waves, a living silver mirror. That's pretty good. Watch the ocean reflect the moon. Number 2, light a candle for your future self. Now we're getting, metaphysical. At midnight on your birthday or a turning point in your life, light a single candle at midnight. Speak a promise to the flame, one sentence only, then watch the wax fall, sealing your vow in a quiet ceremony. Number 3, dance alone to a song only you can hear. This is a good one. Put on your headphones, turn off the lights, and move like starlight itself. That's interesting. No rhythm, no rules, baby. Just the pulse of your heartbeat echoing through space and time. I have to say to you tonight that, I'd had a few drinks. I'd had dinner, I'd had snacks, then I had a drink, and then I had dinner, and in between all of that, I play with some makeup. And during that time when I was doing that, I had music blasting in my podcast makeup all-encompassing studio, basically. And, there's nothing better, mate. Nothing better than having a drink, playing with makeup, and blasting some music and singing along. So, I dance alone to a song you can only hear. I'm down for that. Number 4, sit in total darkness until you can hear your own soul. That's a big one. Find a quiet place, no phone, no light, and sit for 15 minutes past midnight. Let the silence reveal the whispers of your inner world. It's unnerving, liberating, and unforgettable. I would agree with that. I've never done that. It sounds right up my alley, actually. It's past midnight, so it's way past 15 minutes. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know if you've ever done that yourself, but I think I'd give that one a try. Number 5, watch a meteor shower from a hilltop. That's nice. Wrap yourself in a blanket, bring tea, and lie beneath infinity. when a meteor streaks across the sky, make a wish. Not for something you want, but for something you're ready to release. That's a nice one. Write a letter you'll never send. Number 6, at midnight, pour your heart into a letter to someone who changed you, broke you, or made you whole. Then burn it or bury it. Let it become stardust, freeing both of you. That's nice. Number 7 is something I have done, and I would encourage this. Walk through a sleeping city. Explore your city when the streets are empty. Notice the flicker of distant windows, the hum of quiet street lights, the rare peace of solitude in civilization. It feels like owning time itself. That's really beautiful. That is the thing. When you are walking around, even the sounds of cars sound different. I know that sounds strange to say that. And it's funny that I'm just thinking why to myself that is the case. But it does. Sounds different. It's dark, and your outlook, what you would normally see is changed because of shadow, and there's no illumination. There is darkness where you'd often see light. So, and the colour is no colour. So, yeah, I like that. I do like walking around at night. I don't do it very often anymore, but yeah, something perhaps you should do yourself. Number 8, sit beneath an ancient tree and listen. That's nice. Go into nature under moonlight. Sit beneath a tree older than you and simply listen. To wind, to leaves, to memory. Midnight has a way of translating silence into wisdom. That's nice. Number 9, meditate on the line between days. At 11:59 p.m., inhale deeply. Hold your breath through the minute of transition. So as in, you know what I mean. And exhale into tomorrow. Feel yourself cross the invisible border between what was and what will be. That's nice. That's a good one too. And finally, number 10, create something that will outlive you. A poem, a song, a single line written at midnight that carries your truth. Even if no one ever reads it, you'll know you left a vibration in the world that will never fade. And that's 10. And yeah, off the back of that, I was just intrigued to think, how would I feel doing a podcast at midnight? Normally, so I can paint a picture for you, here in the studio, I look out, my desk is looking out a window, right? And right now I have the curtains closed because I felt weird having them open. Where I live, there's a street light right outside our driveway, and which emanates quite a band of light. Yeah, band of light right across the driveway, and it's quite broad actually. It's quite nice. I think for me, I'm sitting here and I've got headphones on and I feel weird because I don't have any, not that I hear anything, because I normally don't. I might not. Let me go back a step. If there's cars or motorbikes or, like I said, the bitch next door doing the lawn mowing, I will hear that. But this is the thing right now, if I was to take off my headphones, there's just a hum, actually. Where I live, I'm right near a power station, very close to one, and it does emanate a hum. In the day, you don't often hear it because in the daytime there's so many other noises that will drown that noise out unbelievably, which is, because it's actually quite loud when you actually focus on it. At night, you can hear it. It's not bothersome, but there is a hum, basically. it's strange being in a house of quietness. I mean, I have the TV on in my lounge room, but I have it on mute. There's nothing else that I have on. I mean, I have lights and shit like that and my Rode Procaster and all that kind of shit. But yeah, it's very still and very calm, but at the same time quite strange and slightly unnerving because I'm not used to sitting here in the dark. Well, yeah, I'm in the darkish. Not used to, sorry, I just hit the microphone, not used to sitting in the dark where it's quiet, so quiet. And yeah, there's nothing, there's nothingness. And yeah, it's a strange feeling because we just don't do it. I mean, we do. Obviously, that's probably why so many people are drawn to meditation and those kind of practices because we need space for our mind, for our psyche to just have a break from all of that that is impacting you, constantly, sound and light on a very constant day-to-day basis. And, that example of meditation is just being one example where you are just focusing, on the breath or you're focusing on a particular tantrum, no, no, not a tantrum, a tantra, yeah, is that it? Yeah, I don't know. Yes, where you're just focusing on something like that and, you're harnessing stillness in your mind. And like I said, right now, it's looking at my mobile phone, it's now 1:34. It's quiet. It's motherfucking quiet. And it's disconcerting, but why is it? Because it's something that we all crave all the time, actually. Well, I would say to you, most people crave just stillness and quietness just to relax, basically, to just not be bombarded with all the shit on a constant basis. So, yeah, and that's the thing too, like going back to what I was saying at the very start, when you're a lot younger, I mean, there's probably people who still go out now and party and shit, don't get me twisted, that, yeah, you just, you'd go out and you looked forward to, sometimes you didn't get started till, I mean, as a girl, normally we'd get ready pretty earlier. I know my husband used to say, like, back in the day when he used to go out and, I wasn't around, by the way, when he used to go out, they didn't go out till like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Like that's when they started. So this is the thing where, when you're younger, it's just normal just to, go out so many times a week and stay up late and party on and all the rest of it. Where now, for most people, when you get to a certain age and, you got children or you're working full-time, etc., or anything else that you're doing, you're going to bed at fucking, earlier and earlier as you get older and older because, yeah, you just get more and more fatigued and more tired. So, yeah, that's the thing. I just like, I'm trying to, well, I don't really know, but, when was that period in my life? Obviously, when I stopped partying, and going out to nightclubs and shit. When was it where, and I am pretty much a night owl normally. Like I said, at the moment, I feel like I'm getting up earlier and earlier, but normally a normal evening for me would be where I'm going to bed at like, I know, 11 to 12, where, yeah, I'm starting to get tired at about that point. And then, yeah, I'll go to bed. Often, if I'm watching a podcast on YouTube, I might be going to bed at, 12. I think the other night I went at 1. So, yeah, this is the thing where, yeah, as you get older, you're just going to bed earlier and earlier and earlier. And I don't know what I'm trying to get as, I really can't pinpoint to you, like at, I don't know, 42 For an example, I just started, slowly, you know, not going out after midnight. I don't know when it was, but yeah, it's funny because, when you're at, like, for example, when you're in the city, even if you don't go out, and, there's been times, many a time in the last couple of years when I've stayed at Sydney for the evening. And, I might have been up reasonably late and then, I've gone to bed and we get to midnight and, you can look out the window and, yeah, the city obviously is a lot quieter, but, there's still all lights on and the trams are still chugging along and, you'll see, depending on the day of the week, you'll see people wandering around. But, yeah, there's still a lot of light. But, yeah, then you kind of eventually see less and less people and you just see the beauty. Like for me, I think it's beautiful actually, the tall city buildings with all the office lights and empty and no one in them. Like you kind of like peeling your eyes to see the occasional cleaner with like a big vacuum. Do you know what I mean? Or hopefully see someone having sex in the big office. But that's only happens in movies. I've never seen it in real life, unfortunately. But this is the thing where, yeah, the gloriousness of, staying in a hotel, like somewhere in a city, for example, and it's still, it's still alive. Do you know what I mean? But it's a different type of alive. And it's just glorious, all the lights and, like I said, all the city buildings with their lights on them, but the rooms are empty. And, I'm thinking of certain places where I've stayed in the city and office blocks and office buildings around me where, you'll see the boardrooms or the I don't know if you want to call it, what do you call it, kitchenettes? Is that where, yeah, I suppose that's the word I'm looking for, that, we'll have the big TVs on still playing in the background, but no one's there. Yeah, it's just I love the ambience of that. It's just so cool. And it's just so cool being up late at night. Yeah, so, for anyone, who hasn't done it recently, yeah, I would say have a crack. I don't know, have an energy drink and some coffee so you can stay awake. I'm surprised. I'm struggling. I'm in half an hour in and I'm going to have to tap out. Yeah, I think the night has caught up with me actually. Probably because I've had a bit to drink and, had dinner and sobered up and now I'm really tired. I am 52. That's the excuse. That is the excuse that I'm going with, that I'm tired. But that's the thing, if you're still a party dude or a party girl, yeah, you're whatever time it is, 1:41's nothing. It's early. You don't want the night to end. You're fucking going. You're having a good time. And, yeah, it's, what is it, like normally 2 or 3? I'm trying to think, maybe 3, 2 or 3 would be the normal time that a nightclub, I think 2, maybe. I don't know. It's changed now, unfortunately. And I haven't been out to Sydney that late for a very, very long time. But I think it was 2 that, where I live that, if you're at a club or whatever, that was the lights are on and fuck, stop pashing the random person and, try and get home. Whoever and wherever you're going to, basically. And that's been a long fucking time between drinks for me. But, yeah, it's just, there's a whole nother world, isn't there? The world still carries on. That's the other thing. I know that many, many, many years ago, when I was with my when I was with my previous marriage. I don't know what I'm saying. My ex-husband, we owned a fruit shop, and we used to, no, I didn't do it all the time, I'll be honest with you, because sometimes it was, I opened the shop and he would go to Sydney markets twice a week. But even just doing that where, like I was thinking about in the middle of the night, all these things that still happen, the transportation that still occurs, the planes that still leave the airport. I mean, there's so much. You think of that, the hospital stay where, you're in the hospital and it's past midnight and it's quiet, and there's that weird hospital glow that they've got going on, like the floor lights, and the weird, because you hear all the beeping of the IVs and, the soft, walking of the nurses, in their fancy shoes. It's, the world's still happening, but it's just a very different outlook at night, and it's very beautiful actually. So do yourself a favour if you've never done it. I really would encourage going for a walk in the city, if you're near Sydney. But if you've never done it before, and not just part of like you've been at the club and you're fucking wasted and you're walking around. No, you could do that. What I'm saying though is, be completely 100% sober, and just wear shoes, preferably. Don't do what I did. And just put on some sneakers and some comfortable clothes and go for a walk in the city after midnight. It's really cool. I really need to do it myself, I think. It's been a long time between walks for me in the city after midnight. So, I might do that. I should take my own medicine, as they say, and do it myself. But have a think about it. Or even in where you live, wherever you live, for those who are listening. Where I live, I don't live in a city. It's not a city. It's not a country town, but it's not a city either. So, yes, where I live, I could literally walk outside and not see anyone, because most people where I live would be in bed. There is no traffic. There's the occasional vehicle, but, where I live, there's no, transportation going past, or trains or buses or anything like that. So as it gets later, it's like right now it is, it's quite nice. So, that's the other thing. You don't have to be in the city to go for an adventure and go for a walk. Wherever you live, may that be in a country town or somewhere where I live, maybe put your sneakers on and go for a random walk and see what it feels like and how it feels, because, you're not going to hear anything, and your perception is different because it's dark, and a lot of things you won't be able to see. So, and what you can see create shadow, and it's just really cool. So, and even more cool if it's a full moon. That's always nice. I mean, when it's not and it's dark, that's one thing. But if you can go out when it's a full moon, that's even, more glorious to the experience. But anyway, I think I'm going to leave it there today because I'm done. Fucked. So old. Anyway, if you like this podcast or you don't, get fucked. No. If you have a topic of discussion that you would like me to discuss, or you would like to discuss it with me, you can reach out to me anytime via my email address, which is info@thetequilahour.com.au. I am primarily available on Instagram, so I have the Tequila Hour page and my personal page as well, and they do have corresponding YouTube channels. I'll be honest with you, I need to sort something out because with my YouTube that's associated with the Tequila Hour, I don't do anything. It automatically defaults the audio or uploads my podcast episodes, which is great, but really it's not doing anything. So I really need to have a ponder on what I want to do about that moving forward. But anyway, I'll leave it there today. Thank you always to those who do take the time to listen to my podcast. I do really appreciate you're just coming back and listening, and it means a lot to me. So thank you. And you know what? Signing out right now. It is 1:48 on Sunday, the 19th of October. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.